I resisted my very first computer. John said, we've got to get a computer, everybody's got a computer. There was a disc of games with it, 10 games. Mostly arcade, but there was one called The Quest. And I've been playing those shoot-em-ups, Depth Charge, with little submarines and things. And then I loaded in the last one after a couple of days. I've been through them. And it said, you're standing outside the entrance to a dark cave. Heavy rain is falling all around you. What now? A little cursor. And I thought, it's crashed. It's not working. Where's the little man? Where's the gun? So I typed in the only word I knew, which was run. And it said, in which direction? And that was it. The computer was actually responding to me. I was hooked.
And was the idea of the library yours to take it on from somebody else?
No, actually, it was because I was unhappy with the way PD libraries were treating adventures as a whole. If you wanted one adventure, you had to hold a whole disc of something you didn't want, just to get that one adventure. And if you got stuck, you didn't have no help at all on it, because they didn't know nothing about it. So that's why Adventure PD was conceived.
Oh, not again. There's a waxworks head in Sherlock, Infocom Sherlock, and there's an item inside you need. And the idea is you melt the head and you end up with the item, but not Neil. He took a gun inside the museum, and first of all he tried to cut its nose off so he could put its hand inside his head off, and then he shot it 6 times. You're laughing, it's stupid, isn't it? And it still didn't work. But in the end, he did think of the right solution. It was a piece of newspaper, and he put the head on the newspaper, and then lit the newspaper. As the newspaper burnt away, so did the head, and the item that was in the head. It all disappeared completely, because the game sort of only recognised the newspaper, so anything that was on the newspaper also got burnt away. You didn't have to put it on the newspaper, but by doing that, you ended up with nothing. But the idea was cutting its nose off and shooting it 6 times. I laughed for about a fortnight.
What do you enjoy about fetching? Why do you do it?
It's just fun.
It's just fun, yeah.
I mean, in my case, it gives me something to do, something to think about, which is the most important thing. And you can't do much physically. You need to have plenty of mental stimulation, so you don't just sit in the corner and vegetate. So I do adventures, talk to people on the phone. Occasionally my children try to ring me and they can't get through because it's outgoing time. But, you know, I just got very involved in all aspects of it now, and it's great. It's lovely.
What made me start was the person I'm here with, Jackie, I went over to her house one day and she'd got a computer and she'd found the game that she was playing. I looked over her shoulder, what's this? And from that moment, I actually went out and bought a computer in order to be able to play them. So I didn't start with a computer and find an adventure game. I found an adventure game and got a computer on the pretext it's for the children.
Loaded it up on Friday afternoon when should have been working. Played this game, and that was me hooked on adventures, because we typed something in, I can't remember, something like kick door, and the response that came out of the computer was, ouch, that hurt my foot. And I thought, well, that's rather good, but how did it respond? How did it know to respond? And then eventually we played it all the way through, and it really wasn't terribly good, and of course you think, well, I could do better than that, and that was it. We bought one for home, one like that, a black and white one, and then I bought a Spectrum, and then it just snowballed from there. I wrote one and sold 3 copies.
One Christmas, my daughter and son-in-law came to stay with us, and Neil said, shall I bring my computer? I'd never seen a computer before. When he brought it and took it out, this little tiny 48K, I said, that is a computer. I was imagining these huge things. I said, yes, that's a computer. I'll show you a game. So he showed me The Hobbit. And that was it. The bug bit me. And I've never been cured, never want to be cured. I'm thoroughly addicted to adventures.
Wife was in the front room watching TV. I had the set attached to a black and white TV in the kitchen. And I was just randomly for ages and ages typing in directions. And then all of a sudden, I typed in a direction, I found you are at the foot of Castle Hill. I went absolutely bananas. I'm leaping around the kitchen, flashed in my head, I found it. And the wife and the kids come out to see what I was still, I said, what's the matter? I said, I found it. They said, what have you found? I said, I found the vampire's castle. And the look on the wife's face was this asset he's finally flipped. You know, for me, it's the same as writing a book. Because you're creating a world, you know, which people can not only read, but they actually take part in. You know, they are the character. You've got to do things. I mean, it's not quite as sophisticated as some of these 16-bit animated graphics things. But at least, if you write the game well, you get into it. You're there.
What's the joy about writing your own?
It's sort of like playing adventure, but you know, you control it a bit more. Sort of create things, create a whole new world, and walk through it. It's great to be able to see it running for the first time.
How long have you been writing adventures?
Since last October.
So not very long?
No, just over a year.
What do you enjoy about that?
I just like the thrill of the fact that people will be playing my stuff. It's just, it's not the money or anything, but it's just the fact that you give some other people a bit of enjoyment from what you're getting enjoyment from yourself. It's just a hobby.
Is there much competition between young authors?
No. We encourage each other.
Why do you think, because that kind of is not what life's like out there, why do you think in the adventuring world everybody's, there isn't so much competition?
Well, we're definitely not in it for money. The market isn't there for money.
No, sure.
So we do it to please each other and please ourselves. It's just as well to make someone else create, help someone else create an adventure.
Would you say it was your initial motive to write the game? Was it fun? Satisfaction?
Yeah, oh yes, fun. I think Roger likes
a bit of a challenge, for me. I just like, messing about with it. Yeah, it is, isn't it? I like, he'll write a game quickly, whereas my games I spend ages on them because I like to try and do different things. And I spend too long on them, and I'm not quick enough.
He's done one now, it's 2 years. I said, get it ready for the convention. It's not ready.
Perfectionist, are you, Roger?
Yeah, sorry?
Are you a perfectionist then, as well?
Well...
No, he's got to be driven. He's not a perfectionist.
I'm just lazy, I suppose.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, he'd rather go fishing.
Seems to be a kind of ongoing argument, discussion between text and graphics games. Where do your
I'm firmly on the side of text-only adventures. It is a personal thing. Some people like to see pretty pictures. I prefer to use my imagination. I treat adventure playing the same as I treat reading a book.
I've seen games where the graphics have been so badly drawn that they're just blobs of colour. And that, to me, they add nothing to the game because they take up space on the screen. They use memory, which in a 48, especially with a 48K Spectrum, you've only got so much memory to use for your game. And if you're using graphics, that takes up a good chunk of that memory, where you could increase the size of location description, messages, have more gameplay.
It just spoils the game having to put graphics. And there was a time when all the major software houses that you had no chance of getting any games on the market unless they had graphics. Yeah. But they were people that weren't playing the games; they were people that were just trying to sell them.
So basically, if you can turn the graphics off, I know what you do.
That's an ideal.
Which is sad for somebody who spends an awful lot of hours doing graphics.
No,
some of them are very good, but to me they don't add much to the game.
I think a lot of it depends on the individual. If you can play a game and picture yourself there, you can formulate your own pictures. And sometimes, if you come across a game with a picture in, it maybe doesn't correspond with the picture you've got in your mind. And it could spoil it for you.
Sometimes it helps the younger end
But for the younger, to get people hooked on them, I think you do need some graphics. So they can then build their own picture from there,
Yeah, I prefer text. Unless the graphics are too special. Because basically it's there to distract you. The text is much more meaningful.
If the graphics are good and it complements the adventure, then that's okay. But just putting graphics in adventure, just for the sake of it, just ruins the whole thing.
I don't do games with graphics. I don't like graphics. And I think if people want to look at pretty pictures, they should go to the art gallery and not play an adventure game, because an adventure game is puzzles and words. It's not picture. I wouldn't mind if the picture contained a clue or a hint, but I haven't come across one that has. And if the graphics can be switched off, nearly every adventurer I know switches the graphics off. So why people produce them with the graphics, I don't know.
I don't mind a picture if it's drawn quickly and possibly if there's a clue in it. Now, one game I played, it was a mountain chalet, and there was a pair of skis by the side of it. You needed the skis, they weren't mentioned, so that was a clue. I don't mind that, but mostly pictures are out, they're a waste of time.
The text adventure is a dying breed now. As people upgrade to 16-bit computers and they start playing these graphic games that have got a good plot, a good story, good puzzles, and fantastic sound effects and graphics, you play a few of them, then you load the text game up. The text game seems dull in comparison, visually.
If you've got an author who can't really tell such a good story in words, then is a good artist, and text and graphics is a good idea. Pictures perfectly worth 1,000 words.
I infuriate my wife. Because I'm always up early. I'm an early to bed, early to rise man.
Oh yeah.
She's the opposite. She goes to bed late, gets up late. If I've got a lot of work to do, I will often get up, switch everything on, and all my computer stuff is in the corner of our bedroom. I will get up. Sometimes I've got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and quietly switched everything on. And she's like, "What time is it?" I said, "Oh, it's at 8 o'clock. Go back to sleep."
What does your wife think about your obsession with computers?
I don't know whether she prefers it or not. She's maybe she thinks she likes it better when I used to play golf and was out of the way.
Do you have a family that says, "Mum, stop running away and using the computer"?
They say, "When are we having tea?" And I say, "I haven't killed the wizard yet." And they say, "Oh, for heaven's sake." And they know it might take me 4 hours.
Because they're all computer buffs. I'm very fortunate. I'm in there on one computer and I can look round and I've got Bobby on a computer behind me and John doing some programming over there and Michelle on this side. So, yeah, it's great. We've got an embarrassment of computers, aren't we?
What about John? What does he feel about the whole adventuring scene?
He came along last year because he said, "I'm going to see all the nutters." He walked in and he said, "Well, aren't they nice people?" And he was really, really thrilled. And he's enjoyed producing it when he's met everybody, the pro breeders, and he's realised what a wide age group they are.
Well, for a while I was a computer widower, right? But due to not seeing Margaret often, I thought I'd better get involved, you see, which I did, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. We're like ships that pass in the night sometimes, and but I keep you supplied in coffee and whatever,
coffee, cigarettes.
And cigarettes, either Margaret will come down for a cigarette or I'll go. It was like I can be sitting watching television, and all of a sudden Margaret will land in the room, and I've got a dragon, and in such and such a situation, what should I do? Well, of course, I've got to switch off from what I'm watching and start thinking about that, because you never know what problem's going to come down, So I quite enjoy it.
My wife calls herself a computer widow.
Yeah. Well, I've got one room upstairs because all my family's married now. A small bedroom has got a Commodore in it. It's got an Amiga in it. It's got 2 televisions.
And there's the one in the kitchen and the loo.
It's got and downstairs in the with a television. She's knitted. My wife's a knitter. She knits. And I've got a big table.
She's been knitting an adventure lately.
Why do you write adventures? Do you think is it fun, satisfaction, make money, fame?
I suppose really it was the challenge. I wanted to find out if I could do it. I appreciate the difference between a good game and a bad game. And I've played too many bad games to feel that I must be able to do better myself. It was a nice reward today to find out that other people felt that, you know, I could do a reasonable job. So really it was a challenge. Again, I just wanted to find out if I could do it. And I enjoy it. I mean, the whole thing, as I say, started off as a joke. I wanted to make people laugh. And unfortunately they did.
So what would you say you're aiming to achieve when you write a game? Do you do it for
Self-satisfaction and
I would say more
to help to keep invention going, because the big software companies don't do any adventure games now, so it's up to the homegrown adventurers to keep it on, you know.
The thing about adventures is that it satisfies two interests. I'm playing adventures and I'm writing as well, you see. So I'm getting rid of a writing bug and I'm getting rid of an adventure bug.
How would you define an adventurer?
An adventurer,
Yes.
someone who's crackers.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
An idiot.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'm
Crazy.
just trying to decide whether to say idiot or maniac.
Oh, not to. Absolutely not to. I mean, who else but an adventurer would go and get killed about 11 times every evening and still go back and do it again?
There are people who go to work and while they're doing whatever they're doing, serving in Tesco's or, you know, building a brick wall or whatever, you might be doing that, but they're not really thinking about that. They're thinking about a puzzle that they couldn't do the night before. You know, it's not really normal, is it?
Somebody likes a challenge. They want stimulation. They want something to think about. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. They get an idea and run to the computer to type it in, and everyone else thinks you're mad. That is an adventurer.
An adventurer? Yeah. He usually drinks coffee, a lot of it. They find little coffee rings on their mouse mats and things. Usually smoke. They keep very odd hours. Very rarely know what's happening in the world. I heard about Chernobyl about a month after it happened. Yeah, they're very nice people. I think I can honestly say they're the friendliest people you could meet.
I think an adventurer is a very friendly person, slightly wacky, very patient, and very generous.
I think all adventurers are escapists. They like to escape from the real world. You know, for a few hours every night, just bury themselves in an adventure. You know, and become the character in the adventure. They become that person. You know, and sometimes you go, if you've got into an adventure really deeply, you come down to earth with a hell of a jolt. You know, it's like this weekend. You know, you spend 364 days doing the same thing, and all of a sudden we come up here, we have a damn good time. It'll take you a week or two to get over it.
How would you define an adventurer?
Well, there isn't such an animal, I don't think. I mean, you'll have seen 120 different people here today. And there's a little quiet, mousy type of people who say nothing, and there's the gregarious type who speak all the time and tell funny stories. And I think it's people who've got an active mind, because they are puzzles. They're not. Other kinds of computer games require hand and eye coordination and fast reactions to what's happening on the screen with what you do with your hands. Well, adventures is not like that. You need not even a fast brain, but an agile and an deep brain. So people who are interested in their mental attitude of working with their brains are people who will play and want to play adventures. In fact, last year there was a Play Tester of the Year award. They don't have one every year. And she won it, and she's absolutely superb. In fact, she's so good now that I tend not to play them an awful lot. I write it and then test it a little bit and then send it off to her and rely on what she finds. And, well, she always finds something. So sometimes it causes a major rewrite. It's something she discovers that I hadn't thought of or had forgotten or done wrong. And she goes so deeply into it that I'm quite confident that the games that I publish that she's play tested, there is not a bug in them.
But Tom gave me initials after the name. The letter arrived one day to Lorna Patterson, DBE. And when I asked him, he said it stands for Debugger Extraordinaire. So, debugger for short. Take it whichever way you will.
Why are you called the Grey?
That's just the creatures in the Infocom games that kill people and rip them from limb to limb, and they're very nice, really.
They used to call me Scooter at college. Or Scoot.
Because?
Because apparently I look like one of the Muppet characters, which I think it's a bit unfair.
Do you have a nickname at all? Either of you in the
No, I'm Jack.
adventure world?
I'm Jack and he's Roger, that's all.
No, that's
all. Sometimes he calls me Dad.
Vicar Jack. Yeah, I did that on, I had a spell checker on the Amstrad. And I sat there one afternoon. I did a letter to somebody and I thought, I spell checked it, and it changed the name. I thought, this is funny. So I typed in a load of people I know, adventurers I know, and sort of ran the spell checker over it and came up with some hilarious results.
Section words. Do you have a favourite section?
Letters, I think. I always do the letters first, so it must be because I always like do the best bit first, and the editorial last. But this actually writing probe is no problem. It only takes me about a couple of days because the readers send in everything. I haven't got to think about what I'm going to write, which is absolutely great. Sometimes I sit there at the editorial, it takes me all day to do an editorial. Mine goes a complete blank. What am I going to tell them about this month? I haven't played an adventure this month.
Talking about adventures, you must have not much time left to play adventures, I thought, after took Probe on, or was that not?
Well, I keep Sunday free. So Sunday is the day when I actually go sailing model boats in the morning. I think everybody'd be surprised to know about that. Afternoons, play adventures. All sorts of things like that.
What do you like best about Probe?
Probe's a super magazine. I mean, it's been going now for about 6 or 7 years since it's got. I suppose it's got everything in it. And Mandy and Bart and Sandra, who started it, got the mix right.
It's so friendly. People, nice letters, nobody says a wrong word about anybody, unless you mention green cheese sandwich.
A lot of fun. Loads of people you can phone up for help, even people who aren't on the helpline, you can still phone them for help or advice on all sorts of things.
Anybody can join, write in, see what they feel. I think it's friendly, that's the main thing about it.
But everyone's welcome to contribute, everyone's welcome to join in.
Do you find a particular part of the magazine, the web, that you like best?
I suppose the first thing I always turn to, after the editorial, of course, Bandy, the first thing I turn to is the letters pages. I do love that side of it, the feedback.
I like reading the letters, and I like the little arguments or little debates that, can be generated by somebody's sort of comments.
I look to see who's still around, who's interested in what, and then if I know them and I know that what their tastes are, I will then look and see what they're recommending. And I sort of take it from the reverse angle. I don't look for the game, I look for the person, and that's why I like the letters section.
Everything in Probe I love. I read it from cover to cover, and then I read it again in case I've missed anything.
To be a kind of worry about the current state of the adventure scene.
Well, there's always been a worry about that, isn't there?
So I think it'll carry on for another 18 months.
You've got the little hardcore that will still play.
Oh, it's closing in all the time,
Well, the thing at the moment, it's all homegrown stuff because Activision and Infocom, they've all gone away. So it's left to the people who play the games to write them to keep the thing going. Nice. It's a sad thing when it comes down to that, but I should imagine it'll be around for quite a long while because there's a bit of commitment there now.
I mean, there's some pretty young ones in there today. I think it's always been small and possibly things like Monkey Island, being so popular, which is a graphic adventure. That's the way it's going. I don't want text adventures to die, but everyone's been saying they've been dying ever since I've been doing them, and I haven't seen any evidence of it.
It's up to the people who buy them. It's up to them completely. There's people like Joan and myself who are willing to work hard, but if nobody's going to buy them, then it's just going to die.
You don't believe that's going to happen, do you?
No, I hope not. I'm addicted to my Amstrad, and I hope other people are too.
People have been saying that adventures are dying for at least the last 5 years. And they're still alive and kicking. And they'll go on being alive. I think you see how many people there are here. We're all adventurers. As long as there are adventurers, and people like John Wilson, Jack Lockerbie, Larry Holsfield, Tom Frost, people who write adventures, there will always be adventures. No doubt about it.
Well, it is on the way out. I think everything will be on the way out. And the world changes, everything changes. Different kinds of games will take over. But this kind will carry on as long as there's, well, you've been here for a couple of days and seen the kind of people that come out. You can get 120 people from all over the country once a year to attend something like this. And adventure games will carry on.
Well, if you'd asked me before the convention, I'd probably give a different answer, but seeing all those people in there avidly playing adventures, I think while we're here, adventures will be here.
Is there anything that you would, you'd like to say?
Yes, join the Adventurers Club.
We're glad England won this afternoon.
Yeah, we're just.
It's nice to meet the guru as well. I've spoken to him a few times. I didn't know he's that hairy.
I'd just like to thank Mandy for bringing us all together.
When I went into the room and I looked round, lots of people there, they're pro readers. It's absolutely amazing.
So here we are again, year 2. Even more people have turned up, even more people you can now canvas bring. Marvellous, just bring everyone together and everyone has a good time.
I think it was brilliant. Last year I thought it was good. This one was even better. It was a great day. I think everybody enjoyed it, don't you, Lorna?
It's just brilliant. It's pity that more don't come really because they don't know what they're missing. It really is good.
Oh, it's great. It's really lovely to meet people. You've read their writings in Pro. You've perhaps talked to them on the telephone. You've written to them to ask their help in a game or something like that. And they're just names. Now they're people. And it's just wonderful.
Though after last year, the first one, that was it. We thought, that's it. As long as Pro's going, we will have a convention.